Hello, Eternal Life fans. It's Rowan from the Eternal Life Fan Club, and today we're going to be discussing the topic of veganism. Is veganism morally superior? Okay. Now, what I'm going to argue is that people like Richard Dawkins and Sam Harris have given the vegans way too much credit as far as veganism being morally superior and, meat eating and eating animal products being, unjustifiable, morally speaking. And I'm going to say how that's totally not true, but let me just give you guys an example of what these two, and there's many people like this, who have just, they kind of, I guess, they give vegans too much credit in the way of morality. So, Richard Dawkins said, "I think veganism is morally superior." Oh, really? Oh, really now? Sam Harris said, "I actually can't ethically defend eating meat." Sam Harris, well, I can ethically defend eating meat, and I will show you that veganism is not morally superior. So here we go. Let's start with the first talking point, which is health problems. There is a crazy amount of health problems that be caused from the vegan diet because of all the nutritional deficiencies that are bound to happen eventually. Initially, most vegans report a lot of health benefits. These are only short-term initial benefits because, think about this logically, a vegan goes vegan from a standard American diet to a vegan diet. They're giving up a lot of the processed foods. They're eating more whole foods, things like that. That's going to contribute to a lot of the initial benefits from veganism. But those are short-lived benefits. And eventually, most vegans run into health problems, especially with the brain. Especially with the brain, because the brain runs on a lot of these healthy fats from animal products. Sardines, fishes, have a lot of these long-chain fatty acids for the brain. And the vegans will say, oh, well, hey, you can eat flax seeds, you can eat hemp seeds, your body will convert those short-chain fatty acids into the long-chain version. That conversion is so inefficient, and you'll very likely still develop a deficiency because our brains are extremely hungry for this nutrient, these long-chain fatty acids, DHA, and EPA, and there's other ones too. I mean, it's like there's so much in the way of animal products that our brain needs. And then there's the inferior protein of vegan sources in general, as a general rule. Maybe if you mix everything perfectly, you might be able to come up with a vegan protein that's comparable to an animal protein, but in general, the vegan proteins are inferior and the animal proteins are superior in the way of what our bodies actually need. And that just makes sense too, because a meat, it's what our body is. We're meat, so it makes sense that you eat a piece of cow flesh, it would have a similar profile of amino acids to exactly what our body needs. Now, I do think people are overdoing it on the meat. There's a lot that says, a lot of studies suggest too much protein can be disastrous for health. So that's another reason a lot of vegans might experience initial benefits. It's because they're going on a lower protein diet, alleviating a lot of the stress on the kidneys that have to process this high protein diet. So by no means am I saying, hey, people should just go out there and eat tons of meat and animal products and eggs, and look, there's a balance to it. There's a balance to it. But the brain will decline as a vegan, especially these long-term vegans. Now, eventually, this brain deterioration can lead to mental health problems, depression, a huge plethora of different mental health problems can eventually be caused by veganism. And hey, don't just trust me. Look at the ex-vegans on YouTube. There is a huge growing community of ex-vegans that will tell you all the health problems they had. So I shouldn't even need to put forth any kind of studies that prove that veganism is unhealthy. Because all you have to do is go on YouTube and look at those vegans. There's so many of them. Blair White was a popular one. She recently came out and said, hey, veganism really did not work for me. And she was trying to be healthy and do everything right with her diet. She still failed. But she's just one of many. So we have all the health consequences, the mental health problems, and the trickle-down effect of all these people with mentally deteriorating minds, the trickle-down effect of that. All these vegans with mental health problems, you know, if they're having a mental health problem, they might lash out and hurt somebody else and this and that. So there's just the trickle-down effect of that. The ex-vegans. All right. So first of all, let's talk about, before I go to my last 2 points here, let's talk about just the value of human life versus animal life. This is kind of what I'm getting at. It kind of proves that veganism is not morally superior. Because if veganism results in inferior health, which it does in a huge proportion of the cases of people that go vegan, their health declines in the long term. So if you have a human with a bad brain, mental health problems, and all these other health problems that can come with being a vegan, I think that even one human that's being, I guess, killed, right? Veganism eventually kills people. Veganism kills. So if you have one human that dies from veganism, that's a big problem, because human value, look at this, this is a chart I made here. The human value is so much more than the animal value. It's night and day, okay? Sometimes I've said, you know, it'd be worth killing any amount of animals just to save one human being. That's the difference we're talking about. The human value is infinitely more precious and valuable than an animal. Now, why is this? Because humans have a lot more potential than an animal. We have more potential to do good things, to help each other and ourselves. We have a greater consciousness level that can experience more. If a human dies, a lot more is being lost than if an animal dies. Okay? If a human's health is hurting, if a human is in trouble, if their health is in trouble, that's a lot bigger of an issue than an animal. Because a lot of the human society is relying on the health of human beings. Our eternal life, our ability to live forever, is relying on the health of human beings, our own health, and the health of other people who are doing research, who are researching how to cure aging, how to solve big problems that are facing humanity. This is all of these problems. Solving these problems is relying on the mental acuity and the health of human beings, not animals. Animals aren't solving these big problems. Animals aren't going to help us live forever. This is why humans are just so much more valuable. And without humans, you know, some people say, hey, the planet would just be so much better without human beings. Well, without humans, every animal on the planet is destined to destruction. Okay? They're dying in nature, and nature's filled with suffering, and they're all just going to grow old and die from some disease and just natural aging. So they need us. Okay? So here's the thing. Let's talk about. I could go on and on about just the health problems caused by veganism that that go way beyond the brain. There's teeth health. When I was a vegan, dental health. Okay, veganism causes. If you watch the stories of ex-vegans, you'll find that another big health problem from veganism is the dental decline. Okay, people's chunks of their teeth falling out. Okay, literally that's what happened to me. I have 2 holes on the sides of my front teeth because when I went vegan, I was lacking minerals in the diet. That's another problem with veganism, especially raw veganism, because they're not absorbing those minerals because they're just eating a bunch of raw vegetables they can't even digest. They can't even assimilate the minerals. That was my case. I was a raw vegan. The worst disaster I ever made, the worst choice ever, health-wise, that I ever made was going vegan. To be honest and fair, I wasn't just vegan though. I even went fruitarian. It's like the worst form of veganism. Don't do that if you want to keep your teeth. still have all this damage today, and eventually I have to figure out how to repair this damage, and it's not good. Okay. But eating a lot of animal products, thankfully, is helping me solve this problem. It's remineralizing my teeth, and at least I've, stopped I've stopped further damage. Okay, my teeth aren't being further damaged because I've given up veganism. Thanks to animal products, my teeth are healing. Slowly but surely. Let's talk about, but I could go on about the health, the deficiencies, okay, of veganism. The B12 problems they come into. The animal source nutrients that you can only find in animal products. Generally speaking, K2 is a important essential vitamin you only find in animal products. There are rare exceptions, natto being one of them, but how many vegans are eating natto? Okay, we need K2. It's in animal products. It's in butter. It's in animal fat. We need this vitamin so that we don't calcify our arteries. It prevents hardening of the arteries. It supports the mineralization of our teeth, our bones, everything. It's hugely important, and it's totally lacking in most vegans' diets. There's a number of things, okay? There's taurine, there's carnitine. There's all these different amino acids that are found in meat, okay? Fish. I'm a big fan of sardines. Someone who eats these things are going to be way better off than a vegan who doesn't eat them. So, let's talk about the vegan Nazis. Here's another reason veganism is not morally superior. It creates a cult-like mentality among most of its followers. Obviously, a lot of vegans are not the vegan Nazi type of people. But just the very nature of this veganism movement, whatever is happening, it does create a lot of vegan Nazi people that, you'd be afraid to even have these people in your life. They would just lash out and do all kinds of bad things. So yeah, and why is there a plethora of vegan Nazis in the movement, though? Maybe it has to do with their brain is starving for animal source nutrients, and so it's creating this, this deranged personality of these vegan Nazis. Just a theory. I'm just throwing that out there. I see way more vegan Nazi people than people that are eating animal products, and they're not lashing out and being extremely hostile towards anyone with a different mindset. Okay, but these vegans are. It's more common in veganism. I think that's not hard to see. So we got the health problems. We got the ex-vegans. We got the vegan Nazis. All the problems they're causing. So the vegans' big talking points is, oh, it's going to save you from death. It's the healthiest diet ever. Wrong. No, it'll kill you. Pretty much, it'll kill you eventually. So we got environment. The vegans' other big talking points is, this is not only the healthiest diet in the world, oh no, it's going to save the environment. If you eat meat, you're destroying the planet. No. Nothing could be further from the truth. There is such a way as... It's like the vegans employ all these dirty tactics, okay? For instance, to prove that the vegan diet's the healthiest, the vegans are always pointing to these bad studies that, take T. Colin Campbell's study, the China study. The vegans, this is like the vegan Bible. They always reference this T. Colin Campbell study where he took isolated milk proteins and tried to prove that animal protein will kill you. It was the most ridiculous study. It's been completely debunked. That's not real science. That's not how you prove animal products are bad for you. But the vegans, they don't know how to do science, so this is what they'll point to as proof that veganism is good for you and meat will kill you, and it's a bunch of hooey balooey. And then we got, they're also employing dirty tactics when it comes to the idea that veganism is the best for the planet, because look at all these animal farms. They're destroying, look at the methane that the cows are farting, and this is going to cause global warming and everything. They don't talk about the damage that their own vegan farming is causing, okay? These huge monocrop fields of grains and soy. You think that's doing no damage to the environment? Oh, it is. And, I mean, think about the amount of animals that get caught up in those tractors when they're harvesting the grains and whatever. A lot of animals are just being killed anyway, so the vegans are not these, you know, saint-like Jainists who aren't killing anything. No, they're killing a lot of people. I mean, they're killing a lot of animals, not people. Well, they actually are killing a lot of people by giving them bad advice that leads to the people's death. So vegans are actually killing people, at least the ones that proselytize their veganism. And then we have the environment. So, look, animal farming does not have to be this thing that destroys the environment. There are healthy ways to farm animals, small farms, biodynamic farming, where there's this system where the cows are, you know, there's not like, they're not all grouped together and there's not thousands of cows in the short, you know, you can actually farm animals product in a ethically sustainable way as well. Okay? So like vegans try to portray it like they don't talk about the other way of doing things that's not destroying the environment. You can have a system on small farms where it's like it's actually doing good for the environment. It's enriching the soil. The cows, they poop on the grass, they use the cow dung to fertilize the other crops, and before you know it, you got this nice harmonious system with nature, and it's not this factory farming. Oh, but the vegans, they only want to talk about the factory farming, so the more people will go vegan. Why don't they just talk about the good, sustainable ways of farming? It's like they want to ignore that. They're choosing what to show people and what to focus on to benefit their own vegan agenda, propaganda. So really, this is the gist of it. And I wish there'd be less of these intellectual type people that really give veganism too much credit. Stop doing it. You're actually part of the problem by saying things like, veganism is morally superior. And, oh, I can't defend this. I can't defend eating the meat and this. And no. No, don't budge. You're giving them too much leeway, and, like, you're giving too much of the argument over to them. Like they've won the argument. No, they have not. They're not even close to winning the argument. Veganism is morally inferior. That's the message here. Just so you guys get it. Just remember here, just remember the difference of value between a human and an animal. It's night and day. Okay? So the health of humans, that's morally superior. Whatever creates the most human health is the morally superior thing. And regardless of how many animals have to be sacrificed or killed or eaten in that process to create the best human health, it's worth it. That is the morally superior thing, because everything good in the world is relying on us humans to be healthy. And that is my case, okay? Case closed. Veganism loses, okay? That's it. Thank you. And may you live forever.